Welcome into the live desk on this Tuesday. I'm Janae Hancock here with Taylor Johnson. Taylor, checking in really fast. How's it going?
I am doing well, hanging in there. How about you?
Good. You know, it's a gloomy day. We're going to take a
Yes.
look at your weather forecast in just a moment because I know a lot of us are on our second cup of coffee because it's so gloomy out there. But we do want you to take a look at this video right here on your screen. Starting off with this, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and there is some progress to report. Prosecutor Melissa Johnson, she just wrapped up a press conference unveiling new data this morning showing that more cases are being filed. Her office is now handling serious domestic violence cases directly. So with that, we do want to turn things over to KCTV5's Gabby Luma, who attended that press conference this morning, detailing more about the initiative. Gabby, what can you tell us? What did you learn?
Yeah, so right now we just learned Prosecutor Melissa Johnson telling us about this dashboard that her office is launching. Now, this dashboard kind of gives a breakdown of all of the numbers, cases filed with domestic violence, but also cases filed with IPV. Now, that is intimate partner violence. Now, the way that Prosecutor Johnson really described this is IPV is kind of the umbrella over a lot of these violent situations that we see with either a partner, a spouse, or a former partner or spouse. Now let's get into the actual details here. She says that the filing of DV cases with her office has increased 57% since 2016. Back then, it was only about 45% of those cases that were being filed with her office. Now this year, 70% of DV cases have already been filed with her office. Now that is a 30% increase from just last year, 2024. Now those are some big numbers, and cases also declined, the filing that are being declined, that came down about 13%, which means that these victims are seeing justice more and more. Their cases are not being turned away. Now, some more communication also between departments with KCPD as well as the prosecutor's office has definitely helped. That's what at least Prosecutor Johnson has said here. Now, again, intimate partner violence is being tracked. So those numbers you'll see on there, I'll kind of show you guys. It's raining a little bit, so my papers are a little wet, but you can kind of see these different numbers here. And each on the dashboard, it kind of shows like the breakdown of the domestic assault or IPV. And so you can see the total received, the total filed, and then the total not filed. And then the total disposed actually means the amount of cases that haven't been dismissed, but they have been closed. So that just means that more victims are seeing justice here, guys, which is just great news.
Yeah, it is good to hear that more people are being given justice, but also what about the offenders? Did the prosecutor make any mention of how they plan to hold people accountable?
She did. So it's really interesting because she said that a lot of these cases not necessarily are, the consequence is not jail time. So she was saying that they have a different, I guess, programs. So they can go into, I believe she mentioned domestic violence diversion, which is where the people who might not have seen a healthy relationship growing up or really know what a healthy relationship is like can go to these diversion classes and kind of get taught that. And Prosecutor Johnson was mentioning that really all of this starts in, I guess, the decrease of these cases starts in education and educating at, the younger levels of kids who might not know, again, what a healthy relationship is like. I mean, depending on, what your home life is like, you might not just be seeing that. So that is awesome as well. And they actually had these two cute therapy dogs in there that they were saying can help not the suspects rather, but the victims. That kind of helps them open up a little bit more, kind of just talk about these situations.
Some important work being done. And again, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Our coverage here at KCTV5 will continue. And Gabby, I know we're going to hear more from you during our noon newscast, so we'll check back in then. Thank you so much for your coverage here. Alrighty, Taylor, let's move on with our other local headlines this morning.
All right, let's get into it. So staying in Jackson County this morning, it's now moving forward with a new county executive. We've been following this for a while. Attorney Phil Levoda has been chosen. He comes in after voters ousted Frank White Jr. and Kay Barnes took over as a temporary replacement. Now, Levoda, he has until January of 2027 to make his mark. Legislators had 30 days, but made this decision with a good chunk of that time left. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan joins us with the latest.
Good morning, Kansas City. I'm Nathan Brennan, right in front of the Jackson County Courthouse, where Phil Levoda is set to take over as the next county executive. He will be sworn into office this upcoming Thursday. Now, legislators had 30 days to make their decision, but they are not wasting any time. You might remember Frank White was recalled just 2 weeks ago. Now, Phil Levoda says that he's not wasting any time addressing some really important issues to voters here in Jackson County. He already says that he has a relief plan for property assessments. That was a big discussion during the voting process of the recall of Frank White. He also says that he plans on having more stadium talks and also addressing the possibility of a county jail. Now, we will learn a little bit more about some of his policies and really what he wants to do in his temporary position once he's sworn in on Thursday. But he has told us that he doesn't plan on running for the executive position when there's a vote next November.
That was our Nathan Brennan reporting. Well, Levoda, he says he's already picked his chief of staff. Raytown Alderman Teresa Garza has accepted his offer. She was elected alderman in 2023, but served in the Jackson County Legislature before joining Raytown.
And Kansas City's Mayor Quentin Lucas expressed his approval of Levoda's selection on social media, saying in part Levoda will serve at a pivotal time for taxpayers in Kansas City and looks forward to working alongside him.
Well, for months now, we've heard the calls about Kansas City getting its own jail, and the process, it takes a step forward today as the city is set to talk about several proposals to build a temporary facility. And with these two proposals, there's a couple of options for the city. One includes a $19 million facility, the other a bit less expensive at $15.9 million. Both of these options would be paid for in part by using money from the city's public safety sales tax fund. The new facility, it would go off Front Street near the city's tow lot, and they'd want the facility to hold up to 140 beds, the same number they have access to through agreements with Johnson and Vernon counties. City leaders tell KCTV5 that in early September that the new facility is more than needed.
I would love it to happen right now. I've been saying that over and over again that we need one. I knew when I got elected to city council we needed a space for a jail at quite a bit of capacity. We knew back in 2019 when the first study was done to determine the site and the size we needed a jail then.
One of the biggest issues that has come up with this facility is that it not being ready by the World Cup. And that's a question that we'll be asking today. Any decisions made on the temporary jail facilities would still need full council approval, and committee meetings set to get underway in about less than 20 minutes.
So we'll definitely keep you posted on that. Moving along this morning, new this morning, Kansas lawmakers give the green light to fund a potential special session. This is for redrawing congressional maps. The state setting aside $460,000 of taxpayer money. Governor Laura Kelly has not called a special session and does not plan to. Kansas Senate President Ty Matterson has previously called the redistricting effort a, quote, serious endeavor. Lawmakers would need a 2/3 majority to have a special session without the governor's approval.
And Kansans, a reminder that today is your last to register for the general election. You can register on the Kansas Secretary of State's website, and advanced voting starts tomorrow. Election Day is on November 4th.
And this morning, a local family is facing a nightmare after their child was hit by a car while riding an e-scooter. It happened at around 6 last night on Lee Boulevard, just north of West 103rd Street. We are still trying to learn more about the victim's condition this morning, but police are investigating the crash.
And keeping on the topic of e-scooters and e-bike safety, it's been a major concern across the metro. Leawood and several other cities are trying to enhance safety measures so that people don't get hurt. Now, last week, the Leawood City Council asked the Bike Walk Committee to consider adding a helmet requirement for kids who ride these devices. It comes after police say they've received several complaints of reckless driving. Prairie Village and Overland Park have implemented their own requirements. The committee is set to discuss this issue next month.
And now to a safety alert that aims to keep you and your family safe while on the road. A new Missouri law is now targeting distracted drivers behind the wheel. Missouri is one of 32 states that have laws banning handheld cell phones while driving, but now the state is standing out, doing something just a tad bit different. The Department of Transportation is aiming to identify distracted driving hotspots using data gathered anonymously from your smartphone as well as your vehicle. It's called telematics, and so far the data shows that 1 in 3 of fatal crashes in the state of Missouri involve a distracted driver. Law enforcement agencies are also considering more educational programs, but right now they are just urging you to put the phone down.
So imagine you're getting home with a car full of groceries and you have your hungry kids with you, but instead of walking those bags in from the driveway, you have to get on a bus to get back to your house. Now, this construction that you see here, it's creating that reality for some Overland Park families. Now, the area we're talking about, it's the Moody Hills neighborhood. It's from 91st to 95th Streets between Schweitzer and Hayes. Now, it's part of the Overland Park's Neighborhood Street Reconstruction Project, and we got to speak with some neighbors who are dealing with this inconvenience, and they say it could not be wrapped up soon enough.
I've got 2 great grandkids that I pick up at school. If I had to get them to a doctor, or my husband with his heart condition, I had to get him out of here in a hurry. I don't know that I could. That's my only concern.
The city says that construction is expected to wrap up in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And moving along to something I know a lot of people are excited about, myself included, a new theme park for Bonner Springs that's channeling your inner childhood may take a little bit longer to come to life. We're learning development of Mattel Adventure Park is delayed. Now, back in February, the plan was to open the park in 2026. KCTV5's Chandler Watkins reports just how long the wait is going to be.
Bonner Springs City Council unanimously approved a development agreement between the city and the developer behind the Mattel Adventure Park. In the agreement, the timeline for the park has been pushed back. You're looking at the future side of the park. It's the southwest area of 118th Street and State Avenue. Right now, it sits empty, but this is what it could look like with a park, hotel and convention center, retail space, a year-round holiday attraction, and rainforest attraction. Per this newly passed development agreement, construction on the park must start in October 2027, with the park substantially complete by October 2030. Then the park must be open no later than May 2031.
There were just a lot of decisions that had to be made. I know that the developer has said that, there's been things, including, tariffs and things like that are going to affect the project, the construction materials and things like that. So they had to get some of those things worked out. And then again, we just wanted to make sure that the city had the incentives in place and we knew what we were being asked for specifically.
We have more on this development agreement on our website and your KCTV5 News app. Reporting in Bonner Springs, Chandler Watkins, KCTV5 News.
And we have also learned that developers have up to 45 days to start the process of purchasing the property.
All right, that looks interesting. I
It
guess
is.
We'll see it come eventually.
I know. Hopefully it comes to life here soon.
Well, something that folks have been eventually waiting for, a game-changing piece of the Kansas City Chiefs offense is back, and it's about to unleash a triple threat like never before. Receiver Rashee Rice will make his season debut this week. Rice joins the receiver room with Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. In fact, barring no injuries, it'll be the first time this triple threat has ever taken the field together. Rice returns to the field following a 6-game suspension. He hasn't played an official game in over a year, and Rice hasn't practiced with the team either. But head coach Andy Reid says he knows Rice is in good shape and that the trio of wideouts are ready to kick the offense into another gear.
I think they're looking forward to it, maybe even more than I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they're excited to play together. They're all those 3 are very close. We'll see how it all works out. I don't have a lot of promises for you, but it'll be great to get them back going in the swing.
Yes, we will see indeed. But the Chiefs' offense is predicated on speed, and now they are full strength at receiver.
Meanwhile, the NFL has disciplined the Lions player who started a post-game brawl. Safety Brian Branch will be suspended 1 game without pay after punching Chiefs receiver Juju Smith-Schuster in the face. Branch plans to appeal the suspension.
All right, and with that, tune into KCTV5 this Sunday to watch the Chiefs take on the Las Vegas Raiders. This game kicks off at noon. It's like probably the first game in weeks that we'll be able to watch, Janae.
Yeah.
It'll be early enough.
Before you go to sleep. And you know what? I'm a rebel, so I'm going to stay up all night.
You're right.
But we do want to take a live look over the Country Club Plaza, and boy, is it looking sad outside. And if you want to complain about that, we have meteorologist Warren Sears coming up next.
Blame him for it.
Give him all your complaints. All righty, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi everybody, I'm First Warren 5 meteorologist Warren Sears. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day so far. Definitely probably a little tough to get out of bed today. It's gloomy. We've had some light showers around. Definitely temperatures cool enough to want to just hang out inside this morning. So all in all, we are seeing more of the same thing kind of through lunch, late morning and into midday. I'm expecting those temperatures to only budge a little bit out there this afternoon, but you'll keep cloudy skies around for quite some time. So let's talk through your forecast here. Let's actually first show you a live look outside over the plaza, because rain is covering up that camera now. Wet roads out there. It's pretty light stuff, so I don't expect a whole lot of issues on the roads, but you might need the wipers for a little while, and visibility could briefly be reduced. So that's something that we'll definitely keep tabs on this morning, late morning and into midday. But a better rain chance actually that I'm going to be tracking is later on this week. We added a first warn for Saturday morning, but it's kind of Friday night, Saturday morning. So Tuesday showers, a few sprinkles out there this morning and into midday, a couple of light showers. But the next few days, the big story actually turns to the summer-like warmth that is back in the forecast. And then here's that first one that I mentioned that we added to the forecast. That's going to be for Friday night and into your Saturday. That is a better opportunity for potentially more heavy rain and maybe even some thunderstorms. While today's stuff really just a nuisance more than anything, and really just light. So as we look out over downtown right now, we haven't budged much at all. I think during our show this morning, our temperatures were right around 64 or 5 at the airport, and we are still at 66. So I'm thinking we should be able to climb a few more degrees, but we have to get some of the shower activity out of here before that will happen. Now you can see here, there's a lot of just light green specks kind of all over our radar. Those are little small showers that are real light. You don't even really see much dark green embedded in those. So again, I keep using the word nuisance and spotty. This is exactly what it is. There could be 10-15 minutes where you have some rain, and then otherwise there could be some issues with visibility or whatever it may be. So I'm definitely going to see those conditions kind of stay on the not so fun side out there this morning. So we'll be watching that into the afternoon, and all in all, I do think that the afternoon should be a little bit more on the drier side, but I also think that we won't warm too terribly much more than what we've seen right now, what we're seeing right now. So past hour radar does have a nice little batch coming through Kansas City in the 435 loop out there pretty much as we speak. And then also I'm expecting to keep the cloud coverage around for quite some time too, because look out to our west. This is what we have kind of streaming up in our direction. A couple more of those light showers before potentially starting to see things break up a little bit. So this is the latest computer guidance coming in here into the afternoon even, but you can see here the clouds, especially to the south of I-70, start to break up a tad. So I'm hoping for some sun peaks for you guys. Near and north of 70 might be a little more locked into clouds today. And then you can see here by the late evening, all of us will get some of that clear sky that will work in tonight. So throughout the day today, keeping a 30% chance in through lunch, and then a 20% opportunity even into the afternoon for a few sprinkles or light showers. Mid 70s, if we can get there. I'm now starting to think maybe that's a little warm, but 75 or so is your forecast out there today. Now, the next 2 days, dry and summer-like. We've got conditions feeling like June or late summer, not feeling like fall at all. So that's the next 2 days. Now, Friday will be pretty warm as well, but Friday night into Saturday morning, as I mentioned, is our next opportunity for some rain and thunderstorms. That's our next first warn in the forecast, especially for early in the day on Saturday. And so this is why, let me show you here what radar could look like as you worked into your Saturday morning. I'm gonna have to switch this back over here real quick, but we do expect to have a cold front bring you a line of rain and maybe even a few thunderstorms as well. There is a small signal that a few of those storms could be on the stronger side. So let me show you that here real quick. And kind of show you what our computers are suggesting for that next bigger system here. So let's get out of this real quick. And okay, here we go. So this is a look at Friday morning. Could even have a couple of showers into the mid-evening. The general trend is to keep most of the activity out of here until after sunset Friday, more so after maybe 9-10 p.m. Friday, and then look at overnight into early Saturday before the system should move to the south and east throughout the day on Saturday. I'm hoping we can have many dry hours on Saturday and we can push the rain out of here, but I especially think in the morning at this time we could have some rain lingering around. Now, the computers are spitting out some decent rainfall totals. We are at a big deficit right now, and so I don't think it'll be anything incredibly drought busting or beneficial, but I would say 1/2 inch to 1 inch down to our south and east actually looks pretty likely. And then more of the couple tenths of an inch range closer to us, closer to I-35 and closer to the Kansas City metro. So that is, not a significant amount of rain, but I do think that that is at least going to help you out a little bit with the latest drought that we've had. And again, this is going to be through Saturday. So through Saturday afternoon and evening, once all that rain clears out, we're definitely favoring those of you into central and kind of south central Missouri to be on the higher end of those rainfall totals, but nonetheless, I still think, again, a good healthy amount is possible closer for us. Now, I showed you on Saturday that rain and thunderstorm activity moving out of here to our south and east, and that is also where we are going to see that opportunity for a few stronger to severe thunderstorms. That's going to be more into the afternoon on Saturday, so that's where there's a possible signal for severe weather. It doesn't really clip the Kansas City area, but it is more so into central and southern Missouri. So that's what we'll watch out there for Saturday afternoon and evening. Still a few noisy thunderstorms possible Friday night and early Saturday, but again, the severe signal not overly high. One thing I do want to say is if you have any outdoor plans Friday evening, don't cancel them just yet, but please just keep in close contact with our forecast here because we still are many days away, but we are seeing signs that after sunset, kind of later on in the evening, as that evening progresses, that we could have some thunderstorms and rain start to push into the area. Again, that's on that next cold front that's going to be working through. Now, lower 80s in the afternoon. It's a warm afternoon, Friday afternoon, but then you'll start to see that front come in, and upper 60s are working back in by about midnight and into that 1 o'clock time frame in the morning on Saturday. And so that's where the rain and thunderstorm chances are also going to really increase. So generally, I'm hoping we can get through our Friday evening plans, no issue, but I want you to just be prepared and be aware that there could be a few of those showers out there or thunderstorms late in the evening and more so into after midnight and early in the morning on your Saturday. All right, let's take a quick look at that Security Bank 7-day forecast. All over the place here this next week. We've got some toasty days in the 80s after today, 84, 83, 82. Definitely not feeling like October. This part of the year, our normal high temp is actually 68 degrees. We are not going to find that until Sunday. So those of you searching for a little fall feel, Saturday will be better. But with that front coming in, it'll completely clear the region on Sunday, bring you winds out of the north, and a morning of 48 and an afternoon of 68 degrees. So lots to look forward to there. But we have to get through a few pretty warm days that you will definitely need the AC on through the end of this work week. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me here late morning. We will see you at noon for a new weather update, and Janae and Taylor will be back here shortly. Have a great rest of your day.
Alrighty, welcome back into the live desk. I want you to take a look at your screen right now. Taking a look at this video right here. Grandparents for Gun Safety, they held a community forum Monday evening addressing gun violence prevention efforts and community safety initiatives right here in Kansas City. And with all of that being said, I am joined now by Rachel Casey, who is a part of Grandparents for Gun Safety. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me here on KCTV5 Plus. How are you?
I'm good this morning. Thank you.
Of course. We appreciate you taking the time to come in. I want to jump straight into this interview and talk a little bit more about Grandparents for Gun Safety. Tell me a little bit more about that nonprofit.
Grandparents for Gun Safety is a local organization that was started in 2014 by a local woman, Judy Sherry, after the Sandy Hook shootings. She said, we want to do something here. So it's a local nonprofit that provides gun locks, free, distributed at events throughout the community. This year, it looks like we'll have about 50 events and distribute about 1,600 gun locks throughout the year. And also partner with several other nonprofits such as Swope Health's pediatric clinics to provide free gun locks.
Important work that you all are doing right here in the metro. So you all held a forum last night. Tell me a little bit more about that and how it all went.
It was a fantastic event. It's the 12th annual community forum that Grandparents has put on. Last night, the speaker was John Pavlovitz, who is a pastor and a social media presence with more than 1 million followers. It was a keynote, plus a panel of local faith leaders. The theme was Faith in Firearms, Turning Faith into Action. So it was an opportunity to discuss how can a faith community get involved to help address and reduce as much as possible gun violence directly here in our community.
And I do want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Just how important is it to have these conversations? I mean, is gun violence just really an issue this year compared to previous years?
It has been a growing issue. The rate of gun ownership has continued to increase. More guns does not mean safer. And so we stress that GGS is not opposed to gun ownership, but we do stress there are ways to minimize the risk of, if you have a gun in your home, how to minimize the risk of it being used against people who may have mental health needs, may be in depression, they may be in a rage, or a toddler may get a hold of it and cause an accidental shooting. So the forum is an opportunity to educate people and to showcase ways to get involved in our community. And last night it was particularly focused on faith communities.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question for you. So you guys are really calling attention to the need for gun safety and pushing for stronger gun reform. You also mentioned children. I mean, what effect, if you have the statistics right there in front of you, just how impactful can this be on children, gun violence?
Oh, it's huge. We know that, and I won't have that data point right in front of me, but
that's okay.
So many children live in a home where there is a loaded, unlocked gun. We all hear about those instances where a toddler gets a hold of a gun and is curious, and then it ends in a tragedy. And oftentimes the parents, or perhaps grandparents, think, well, they don't know where it's stored, or they know to stay away from it. In both cases, we know are not necessarily true. And you shouldn't assume that. So we can provide a gun lock that is a safe, low cost to anybody, and we make them available for free way to secure that. So if a toddler does get a hold of a gun, it's not going to cause another tragedy.
Yeah. And what you do have some statistics there in front of you. Kind of break down what you do have, what you can educate our viewers on.
Well, for one thing, we want people to know that in America, guns are now the #1 cause of death of young people 18 and younger. So that's a startling statistic, and one that doesn't have to be that way, because we do have means to reduce the impact of gun violence. here's the number: 4.6 million children live in a home with at least one loaded unsecured gun. 4.6 million children. So those are tragedies just waiting to happen. And in America, children are 12 times more likely to be killed by a gun than children in other countries. So there's some things that that can help people kind of sit up and take notice that securing guns is a way to help address some of these. The kind of gun locks that we provide are cost effective for anyone, but also free through Grandparents for Gun Safety, thanks to generous supporters.
Yeah, some great information there. And like you said, some generous supporters as well. I do want to touch on just the significance, because we hear about moms against gun violence throughout the country, to be quite frank. But what really stood out to me is Grandparents for Gun Safety. So speak a little bit more about that significance. Why is it so important for grandparents to come together and speak out against guns?
Well, for one thing, that we know that sometimes the grandparents have a little bit more time available, which I greatly appreciate. And also, you know, they've lived enough lives that they've seen the tragedies. They may have been around long enough that they knew when gun and gun violence were not quite so prevalent. They may have grandchildren in their homes, plenty, so they're aware of making things safer for their grandchildren coming to visit. Although you absolutely do not need to be a grandparent. Right. I am not, and we have plenty of people who are involved who are not grandparents, but it's the sense that, you know, grandparents are often seen as kind of warmer and welcoming, whether that's necessarily true or not. Yeah. But that's something that we can lean into, to say, you know, we care about families, we care about the community, and we want to do whatever possible to help this community.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely doing that. I mean, with that forum and so many other events that you said you guys have hosted and are set to host this year. So if you could leave our viewers with one final message, Rachel, what would it be?
Well, we'd like to invite anybody to go to grandparentsforgunsafety.org. And there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of data. We've had a lot more data points that you might find interesting, but also may help you in talking to other people, possibly other parents. And we have monthly meetings that are open to the public with speakers such as Jackson County Prosecutor Melissa Johnson and such, talking about a wide range. We invite anyone to come to the meetings, to be a member, to join, just to, or volunteer. We do so many events where we're out in the public and distributing these free gun locks and providing other information, educational information, all of that to try to help make a difference in the community.
And you just touched on Melissa Johnson, and I know we actually just heard from her. She held a press conference because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. So this interview is very important, also very timely. So it just speaks to, again, the work that you all are doing right here in our community to really draw awareness to a huge issue with those statistics. So Rachel, thank you so much for joining me here on KCTV5+. And this will not be the last time we see you here. I'm sure we'll have more conversations here.
I hope so. I look forward. I would like to say that we and Moms Demand and the other groups, we work together. We're friends. We all have common goals here. So look for us in the community. We'll be wearing orange.
Yes. And speaking of orange, we're going to end off with this video right here. Again, for more information, you can go to grandparentsforgunsafety.org if you would like to get involved or you just want to learn more about the organization. Again, Rachel, Casey, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on KCTV5+.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Happy Tuesday. You know what time it is when you see Miss Evanie Bing, Janae Hancock here, Taylor Johnson. So excited to talk about what's trending this week. There is a lot to cover.
A lot to cover. Let's get to it. Ladies, how you doing? Okay, Miss Wendy. Wendy is like one of my idols. Like just career-wise, like she is my girl. I used to watch her every single day. And Wendy, imagine finding out about your life through a newspaper or magazine article, because that's what happened with Wendy. Watching these clips just makes me so sad, just reminiscing about the past. And we need Wendy at this time right now with everything
that's going on.
Yeah, but Wendy found out that her rent was $24,000 a month. If you remember, she's in a conservatorship, and she's claiming that her conservator, Sabrina, is trying to suck her dry of all of her funds. And you want to know what? I agree. I understand that Wendy lives in New York City, and rent is not cheap. Wendy is a woman that likes nice things. So I do understand that she wants to live in a nice place. $24,000 is pretty excessive.
It's insane. A month,
especially because she lived in Jersey, so she could just take the bridge over to Jersey and get something way cheaper. She has since moved to a smaller place, $12,000, and I believe she said it was a studio apartment, or that's what I was reading, what the reports were saying. But yeah, Wendy, she is not happy. She is still stuck in this conservatorship. They're saying that she just isn't competent to make her own decisions because she has dementia, or signs showing that the dementia is going to get worse. And I think that Wendy is still sharp. You can read a newspaper article and see how much your rent is, and to make a fuss about it. I think that she is okay. There are some things, Wendy has a very interesting personality, and if you watch the show, but I do see there's some things here and there, but as for taking care of herself, and they just don't seem like they want her to be happy, and she's concerned because she doesn't know her net worth right now. And I mean, I would be scared too, because I believe in her conservatorship, because I was thinking about the Britney Spears conservatorship where they forced her to work, but in Wendy's conservatorship, she's not allowed to work, and so she has no funds coming in. So I would be concerned too if they're trying to suck me dry of my money.
I don't know if you saw recently at Fashion Week, she was out and she looked amazing.
She did.
It always makes me so happy to see her. One of my good friends back home, every time we see Wendy, we send the post to each other, and we were just so excited to see. She had her good hair.
She had the fur.
And you know what, Evanie, I want to go back to what you said. Just looking at those clips, those old clips, it's sad to see, because she was so enthusiastic. She was moving on her own. And now she's become dependent on other people physically. I'll say that.
But she's fighting back, I feel like.
She is. And again, she's able to read those headlines, and she's like, something's not right.
But that just goes to show that you do have to tend to your mental health, because if you remember Wendy, the decline started to happen when Wendy's mother passed away, and then also when word came out about her ex-husband,
I was going to say that divorce,
the mistress, and the baby on the way, and that was a long kept secret for a very long time. And I just think that that's really the tipping point of when she really started to abuse whatever substance it was, allegedly.
I was on her show once. It was
Me
in
too.
The audience.
I was a guest.
Wait, don't you have something on your Instagram, Evanie? Because
guest.
every time I pull up your Instagram, that's what it says right now.
I won $9,000. I went on as a super fan. They flew me out. They took very good care of me. Yes, I still keep in contact with some of the producers on there.
As you should.
It was so much fun.
That's awesome.
It is. Very fun environment.
Well, again, we're going to send our best to Wendy Williams. Love to see her out, and hopefully she gets all that settled. And speaking of getting things settled, this is still ongoing as we look ahead to the Super Bowl.
My goodness.
That's happening next February. What's going on?
Man, okay. George Strait, 73 years old. People are signing a petition saying that they want him to replace Bad Bunny as the halftime performer. People are still up in arms because Bad Bunny does not sing in English. He is just singing in Spanish. And Bad Bunny said that you have 4 months to learn Spanish for his performance.
He said that?
Yes.
No.
I mean, it's all in fun and games. And I mean, I'm just so torn about this. Am I a big Bad Bunny fan? No, I'm not. But I love Latino music. I am half Latina. I am Brazilian. And so I think that, having Bad Bunny just shows where the world is going. And, we have lots of Latino people living here, Spanish. I went to Disney World and I didn't even speak English when I was there. I spoke Portuguese and Spanish the whole time I was at Disney.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and so there are different languages, different people, and that's what makes the United States such a great place. And so people are saying that having Bad Bunny is going to be divisive, but George Strait is going to divide people, and George Strait is going to unify everybody. It's more family friendly, but we need a little bit of spiciness for the halftime. If you don't like it, just walk out of the room. There's been many years where I didn't like the halftime performer.
That's true,
I didn't pay it any mind. I did not start a petition. Let's just go with it. I'm sure Jay-Z and his people don't
even
care.
if you don't like them, maybe you don't know them, because I know there have been some years I'm like, I don't even know who this is. And that's when I get up and I eat and I enjoy, I socialize. So you're not necessarily always going to agree, but we'll have to see what happens with this, because I know Turning Point USA, they're also going to be hosting their own halftime performance as well. So it's just a lot of petitions going on.
I just feel like it's just going to bring more eyes to it anyway.
I think so too. And
I don't think
also,
nothing's going to change.
We have to remember that we are the prime demographic that they're trying to target for these halftime shows. Back in the day, it was our parents. And my mom used to get all excited. They had like a Supremes reunion, whatever it was, the Motown reunion.
Michael Jackson, Prince.
Prince. Yes, that was their era. And now it's our era. And Bad Bunny, you cannot deny his impact on the younger generation. And here we go. He's selling out all over the world. They're trying to make the NFL and football, American football, a thing for all over the world. And so, I mean, let's do it. They're going to attract a lot of people. And so George Strait, I have nothing against him. I cannot name a song that he sings.
Same.
Nor with Bad Bunny, though. I only know the one with Drake, the MIA, and I know a few of his bops. But
I know he would probably put on like a show, because that's what the Super Bowl halftime show, I feel like, has become. Especially like if you're there and you see how they shoot it on TV, you can't really probably see all the elements. It's like made for television, right?
Exactly.
So is George Strait going to give us what's made for TV?
People say he would, but I mean, it's just all opinions.
But you know what? There's always next year. I don't know where the Super Bowl is next year, but
it's in LA.
People, yes. So people, they just keep going back to LA. But people can keep throwing out their opinions, and maybe next year it'll be George Strait. Maybe next year it'll be some Taylor Swift, whoever you want it to be.
Jay-Z gonna keep doing what he wants to do.
Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of Taylor Swift, let's go ahead and hop into this story.
Yeah, okay, so everybody's been wondering, where has Taylor Swift been? But, you know, all season long, she used to be in the box, and they used to give her lots of camera time to the point where people were getting upset about, well, the men that were there for the football. But the ladies, you know, that are her big fans of Swifties, they appreciated it. But I think that it's so cool that she is actually out and about in Kansas City. Here she is on the plaza at Prime Social with friends and family, and then also Kareem Hunt. So I just think that it's really cool that she's frequenting these spots. And then also over the weekend, Charlie XCX, she was on SNL, and shots fired because Taylor Swift, ever since she put out her album, Taylor Swift and Cardi B have been, you know, calling the girls out left and right, and Charlie Bean. Taylor Swift, she has a song on her album, and it's called Actually Romantic, where fans are speculating that she is talking about Charlie XCX, and Charlie XCX clapped back by wearing a Kansas City shirt. So here we go.
What's the origin of their situation?
Taylor Swift, she made allegations that Charlie XCX does a substance. Also, when she broke up with her ex-boyfriend, that she high-fived her and high-fived him and said she was glad that the guy ghosted Taylor, and that she always talks about Taylor all the time. I don't know if this is a compilation of people, but it just, everybody is saying that it's about Charlie XCX, and apparently it is, because Charlie XCX felt the need to put that shirt on.
Oh, she's coming back.
Messy.
Yeah.
The drama. Like you said, Cardi B and Taylor Swift, they are like,
they should make
a
song together.
No, seriously.
But I like people who call people out. Drake, Cardi B, and Taylor Swift. Keep on calling these people out, because they keep on doing
Who is Drake calling out? LeBron?
No, Drake stays calling people out. You know, he name drops people.
Yeah, he does. He does. Like yeah. But I say LeBron just because I was just listening to that song, What Did I Miss, yesterday at the gym. And I'm like, this is about LeBron. Like, we all know that.
Yeah,
but
he even got that tattoo removed.
Very petty.
You know, Drake is petty. With a capital P.
All righty, what's next, Evening?
Katy Perry. So her song Hot and Cold defines her relationship with Justin Trudeau. I always think Justin. Justin Trudeau. I always feel like I'm saying his last name incorrectly, but he is the ex-prime minister of Canada. And they said that their relationship had fizzled out. If you remember, over the summer, she was touring and she made a stop in Canada. It was several days, and so they were spotted out and about on several dates.
Yes. I think we talked about this before.
We did. We talked about it, and then he was spotted at her show, and so we thought that something was going on. And the reports are like, she's too busy. You know, things just fizzled out, but things are back on. They were hot. Well, they were cold, and now they're hot. I was going to try and make a reference to her song, Hot and Cold. But yeah, a very PDA-filled weekend on the yacht on the coast of California.
You know, I love this. I love that she's living her best life.
I do too. I think it's great that she's dating somebody not in the industry. I mean, you know, who she used to date, Orlando Bloom. He's an actor, but they're still like in the same world. This is a politician. This is like, she's going to be the first lady. I like it. I like it.
She's living her best life.
Good
so
for Katie.
Kudos to Katie. Okay, so we have been eager to talk about this ever since it came out last week. Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh my gosh, Wendy, I'm so disappointed. So Wendy Osefo of the Real Housewives of Potomac, she and her husband Eddie, or AKA Happy Eddie. They were arrested. I believe Wendy, she had 7 felonies, or Eddie 8. Maybe it was Wendy was 8 and then Eddie was 7 against them. And there were just, I'm not going to downplay it because we don't know everything of what's going on, just the reports that did come out. But so what happened was they are being accused of making false allegations to the police and claiming that certain things were stolen when they took a vacation. And then allegedly Wendy was spotted with those reportedly stolen items still in different pictures. And so there have been several cast members that have come out, and I loved how Candace, who was formerly of the Real Housewives of Potomac, that is how you defend a friend.
That was a friend.
Ashley, and I am a fan of Ashley, but Ashley, you don't
You're
kick
a fan
somebody.
of Ashley?
I like Ashley.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that evening.
You don't kick somebody while they're down, and I thought that was pretty trashy.
Because you never know when it can happen to you.
Is. Like,
you never know when it can happen to you or one of your family members or one of your close friends.
It was her at one point with Michael when he had those allegations against him. She wanted people to be gracious to her, and she never returns it.
Yeah,
but
it's
go ahead.
It's sad, and you know what? I really feel for the children because they do have 3 kids right now, or not right now, but they do have 3 kids. So I can only help but think about them and their well-being as well. I mean, the reports I was reading, the police, they were arrested at their home on Thursday. Yeah. So I'm imagining the kids were there, and it's like, what's going to happen? I don't know how many years they could be facing if they are convicted, but just sending our best to their kids right now and their family members.
You know, when I saw it, I thought it was fake. It was really
she
hard
came running up to me.
I was genuinely shocked.
Yeah.
Because just looking at what we see of them on the show, we know that Wendy and Eddie together, they're very educated. They have very great careers.
A lawyer, a professor, multiple degrees.
And shout out to Eddie because he's also a Maryland alum like me. But even just looking at their home and everything, it was just very unsuspecting. So like growing up in Maryland, if you look at their house, it looks like any other house that you would see like near my high school where I went, and people who live in Maryland, Prince George's County, because most of these people don't live in Potomac, they do very well for themselves. So it's like, okay, what is the need for anyone on that show to feel like they need to put on airs or do anything illegal, allegedly, to, you know, show themselves to be a certain way? I don't think that it's necessary in that area because the DMV is not flashy. It's not Beverly Hills. It's not Atlanta. You don't need to be dripping in labels. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where the wealth whispers.
Right.
You know, and
the old wealth. It's none of that. But I think that Wendy and her husband are new wealthy, but also I think that because it's the Housewives, we've seen a lot of people get caught up in the lifestyle and they're putting on for TV. And also, I mean, we want to think that these women are very, very wealthy. And I know that they, like what you said, they do well for themselves. But also, if you have to be on the Housewives, I don't think that you really have that much money. And and if they do have a lot of money, they're just bored and they're doing this as a little side hustle.
Yeah.
Like,
to get some extra.
That's how it should be. Like I would say maybe like Kyle Richards or somebody like that. Like Kyle doesn't need the check. I don't think.
She needed it prior, but now
she doesn't. You know, she can leave if she wanted to, but they get caught up in the life.
Exactly.
You know, the prestige, the Bravo celebrity status that they get.
Yeah.
And like the women on Potomac, if you look at the ones around Wendy, who is she really keeping up with? You know?
What do you mean?
Nobody to me is filthy rich, like super, like they have all this and all that Wendy needs to compete with them or do what's alleged
but
to
also,
keep up with
though,
somebody.
we have to think about Wendy's culture and how her mom was so.
Well, that's another topic.
That's another topic. And, you know, sometimes in different cultures, you have to show face and put on for the community, and so you never know what Wendy and Eddie were going through. But also, though, Eddie had his cannabis company, and I thought that was doing very well with their Happy Eddie. And so there's a lot going on, you know. All these I don't want to say all these housewives, but it seems like in every,
it's more often than not,
it's happening a lot. And I thought that Jersey was like the one with the most crooks and fraudsters, but here we go with Potomac. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, but again, this is all alleged. So we will just have to wait and see how this plays out. They did say they are due back in court in November, and they did say we look forward to having our day in court. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Don't play it like Karen, though.
Yes.
Exactly.
Please don't play it like Karen.
Wendy has secured her plot line for next season. So bravo, run that check.
And you know what I will say is that Andy Cohen, he also spoke out about this over the weekend. But Andy Cohen is going to make sure those cameras are there, and we're going to see it by the end of this season. Already. Yeah, by the end of this season, possibly reunion, we're going to know like what exactly is happening.
He said he didn't know till we knew.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that Giselle is going to be the hardest on Wendy.
Really? I feel like it's
Ashley.
It is Ashley. And even Mia spoke. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Alrighty, Ebony, remind our viewers where they can follow you on social media.
Yes, you can follow me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Bingy Baby. Listen to me every single day. New time slot, 3 to 7 afternoons on Power 105.1. I have Brandy and Monica tickets. I have Cat Williams tickets. I have a chance for you to fly away to Vegas to go see Mariah Carey for her Christmas shows. And also a chance for you to win $1,000.
It's time.
I can use $1,000.
It's time.
Awesome. We will see you here next Tuesday. Thanks, Ebony.
Thank you.
Welcome back in to KCTV5 Plus. We have your national news headlines. I don't know why I said it that way, but we are going to jump straight into everything you need to know today, starting off with this. President Donald Trump is back at the White House today after taking a victory lap in the Middle East for his role brokering with the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Now, Monday, all 20 remaining Israeli hostages were reunited with their families. 4 bodies of deceased hostages had been handed over as well, though 24 other bodies are still in Gaza this morning. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
Tearful mourners placed flowers at a growing memorial outside a forensic center in Tel Aviv, where the bodies of 4 deceased Israeli hostages were brought for identification. The solemn scene, a stark contrast to Monday's celebrations of the return of the 20 remaining living Israeli hostages, reunited with their families after more than 2 harrowing years in captivity. These scenes unfolded as President Trump delivered a speech to Israel's parliament, touting his role in brokering the deal that made it all happen.
This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
There were also celebrations in Gaza and the West Bank after nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners were released as part of the deal, while aid trucks flowing into Gaza were swarmed by crowds. This mother says some people take aid while others get nothing. In Egypt Monday, the president also signed a peace and security declaration with the heads of Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, and held a summit with dozens of world leaders.
The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part.
But questions remain on a number of issues, including whether Hamas will disarm. Who pays for the reconstruction of Gaza, which experts say could cost $53 billion? Which countries will contribute to the president's plan for an international security force in Gaza? And what a Palestinian government in Gaza will look like. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
And we're starting to see a lot of videos come out on social media, families reuniting like this one you see here on your screen. But new worries over the fragile ceasefire. Israel's military says it opened fire on several people in northern Gaza on Tuesday after they crossed a boundary and approached Israeli forces. Military officials say that the suspects did not comply with repeated warnings to keep their distance. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says at least 6 Palestinians were killed in 2 separate incidents.
Former President Joe Biden issued a statement Monday expressing deep relief and gratitude after the release of the last 20 living hostages and the announcement of a renewed ceasefire in Gaza. He says, "I am deeply grateful and relieved that this day has come for the last living 20 hostages who have been through unimaginable hell and are finally returned with their families and loved ones." This was in a post on X that you see right here. In a rare show of acknowledgement, Biden commended President Donald Trump for helping broker the agreement while noting his own administration's effort to end the war. He also said the road to this deal was not easy. My administration worked relentlessly to bring hostages home, give relief to Palestinian civilians, and end the war. I commend President Trump and his team for their work to get a renewed ceasefire deal over the finish line.
And President Donald Trump will meet with his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky, at the White House on Friday. That's according to a source. The meeting comes after President Donald Trump said Sunday he is considering telling Russian President Vladimir Putin that if the war in Ukraine does not end, he will allow shipments of long-range Tomahawk missiles to Kyiv. The missiles would allow Ukraine to penetrate deep into Russian territory. Trump says that he and Zelensky discussed the Tomahawks in 2 phone calls over the weekend.
The Pentagon is telling beat reporters to sign new restrictive rules by Tuesday or surrender their press passes by Wednesday. Many news organizations are rejecting the ultimatum and saying that they will not sign. The new policy was championed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and the Pentagon Press Association, a body that represents the beat reporters, says the new policy, quote, gags Pentagon employees and threatens retaliation against reporters who seek out information that has not been pre-approved for release. Editors and reporters say they'll continue to cover the U.S. military thoroughly with or without press credentials.
And the Pentagon is moving billions of dollars allocated for research to pay troops as the government shutdown continues today. A Pentagon spokesperson said President Donald Trump directed the Secretary of Defense to use available funds to pay service members on October 15th. The decision comes after the Department of War discovered $8 billion of unspent research, development, testing, and evaluation funds. That money will be used to ensure troops will have a paycheck if the funding lapse continues past Wednesday.
A video of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem blaming Democrats for the federal government shutdown is ready to roll out at airport TSA security checkpoints. However, several major U.S. airports are refusing to play it. In the video, Noem says, in part, quote, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. Airports deciding not to play the video include those in Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, Las Vegas, North Carolina, Charlotte, Douglas, and 3 airports in New York. We also have an inquiry in right now to see what the case is at KCI. The airports, they did express that they declined the video partly due to state laws or being deemed a violation of the Hatch Act, which prohibits political activities of federal employees. It is not yet clear if any U.S. airport has agreed to display the message.
Severe weather slammed much of the country yesterday, with a nor'easter dumping rain on millions in the Northeast and parts of California surprised by early snowfall. Bradley Blackburn has the latest this morning.
In New England, umbrellas were no defense against the wind and lashing rain Monday as the holiday weekend nor'easter barreled into Boston. The storm dumped several inches of rain across the region and led to coastal flooding. New Jersey declared a state of emergency after clocking winds of more than 60 miles per hour.
I got a deck of cards. We're going to play gin rummy and maybe hearts.
Air travel, already disrupted due to the government shutdown, faced more delays and cancellations. And tens of thousands were left without power after toppled trees took down transformers. In New York City, one woman was killed after winds sent a solar panel flying from a carport, striking her. Meanwhile, out west, there's new footage of rescuers lifting a driver from floodwaters over the weekend in Arizona. Their vehicle was swept downstream. Authorities there are still searching for another man believed to have been lost in fast-moving water.
This morning, the sheriff's office mobilized a pretty large search and rescue operation.
In California, more storms slammed the Bay Area Monday, dumping rain in San Francisco and Berkeley. While the Sierra Nevadas were surprised by some early season snowfall.
So were you ready for the snow today? Definitely not. Easy home dressed.
A hit of winter early in the fall as so much of the nation faces weather whiplash. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And parts of Southern California are also facing flash flood watches through tonight as heavy rainfall threatens areas scarred by wildfires. Those areas face significantly greater risk of mudslides. So we're going to definitely hope for the best. I know California has really been through it. So hopefully the weather doesn't impact them too much, but we'll keep you posted on that. I do want to focus on something else, a lighter story here. Taylor, you just mentioned you just got your Halloween costume. You're now ready to go. Can you kind of give us a sneak peek as to what you're going to be?
It's a character. It's a Disney character.
You know what? That is a great that is a great sneak peek.
It is a Disney character. It's a girl. She wears a lot of red and polka dots.
So we all know who that is. Okay. So
you have to wait. It's a tease.
It's a tease. All right. Okay, so Halloween is right around the corner, and according to a recent survey, Americans are planning to spend big on costumes this year, and we've got the top costumes that kids and adults are going for. Okay, so this is all according to that survey, and it says that $4.3 billion will be spent on costumes this year, and nearly 3/4 of Americans who plan to celebrate this Halloween will dress up. As for the characters you'll see for the holiday, Spider-Man is the popular choice for children. The survey finds that 2.3 million will dress up as the comic book hero. Princess, witch, and ghost costumes are the next popular. Now, as for adults, you can see a witch, vampire, and a pirate.
Okay, I would be none of those. But last year, my niece was a pirate, and she was super cute. She had a little eye patch and everything. Yes.
And then they said pet costumes include pumpkin. That's what's going to be very popular this year. That my pet's not going to be
I'm about to say
that.
Lola cannot be a pumpkin.
No, you already know what Lola's going to be, and I'm waiting. I won't even tease that. Like, it's going to be amazing. I'm just going to pop it up here.
Cute. So have you decided what you want to do?
Yes, but I am DIYing it.
Okay,
so I'm going to be creating my own, and we're going to see how it turns out. But if not, I do have a backup costume that I have to order. So we'll see what happens.
Got to move quick.
I know. This month is really just flying by. And
really
speaking of
is.
things flying by, it's not too far away from the holidays as well, Christmas.
No, it's not, and I'm ready for it. But Amazon, they announced that they are hiring 250,000 people for the holiday season. It's the same number as the last 2 years, and it includes regular, full-time, part-time, and seasonal jobs. They'll work for the online retail giant's fulfillment and transportation network across the U.S. Amazon says the regular and part-time workers earn an average of $23 an hour, along with benefits, and seasonal employees earn an average of more than $19 an hour. So the jobs will be posted throughout December at amazon.com/local jobs. Some years ago, I had a chance to go into the facility here just to like see how they operate, and those little robot things are so creepy.
Yeah, creepy. I thought you were going to say it's so cool. I'm like,
well, it's both, but even just seeing how it works in there,
it's fast,
like
fast paced, I would imagine.
It's a well-oiled machine for sure.
No, and they need this because Amazon is going to stay busy ahead of the holidays, especially during the holidays. Those last-minute Prime gifts.
Oh heck yeah, that one-day shipping. Shoot.
And it is beginning to feel a lot like the holidays in New York City. The rink at Rockefeller Center is officially open to the public if you're planning to make your way to NYC here soon. The ice rink opening marks the traditional beginning of the festivities leading up to the annual lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. The rink first opened on Christmas Day back in 1936. And you know what? This is on my bucket list.
Same.
To go to NYC I think it's on a lot of people's bucket list, but during the holidays.
Yes, to see the lights. I wanted to do it last year and it didn't work out. This year is probably going to be a little too late. So I'm making that my 2026 goal to go to New York
you have to.
for Christmas. And my family lives over on the East Coast anyway, so even if I like go home to Maryland for a few days, I can just like hop on the bus or hop on the train, go up there real quick.
Yeah, it works
you
out.
know, it just looks beautiful.
It does. There is nothing like it. You know, I've never been, but I've heard there's nothing like it, and I can just tell. I mean, even if you were to go for like the Thanksgiving Day parade,
that used to be my dream too.
I mean, and it still can be. You can
right.
still go. You can still check it out.
I don't want to stand outside anymore. Like, it was better when I was younger because I was more about it.
Yeah.
Like, even if I were to do New Year's, I would have to be, like, inside.
Oh,
like,
see, I don't know if my anxiety,
hotel.
I don't know if I could do that. That's way too many people for me.
Yeah.
And too cold.
Exactly.
But I do love watching it on my TV at home.
Yeah. So, wait, you haven't been to New York at all?
No, I've been to New York.
Oh, okay. Just not for the season.
Yeah, no, I went February, a few years ago. Well, more than a few years ago.
And it's cold in February.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl. And it was outside.
Oof.
And I think that was the last time they had the Super Bowl outside in New York. Not fun at all. Well, speaking of the holidays, we do want to take a look at your holiday forecast for watching your wallet. Here's Even Rodriguez.
Many holiday shoppers are anticipating higher prices and bracing for hits to their wallets, according to a new survey from Bankrate.com. The survey also found fewer Americans are planning to travel this holiday season as financial pressures weigh on consumers. The holiday season is fast approaching, but with the murky economic picture, many may not be in the spending spirit.
People are saying that they're pulling back around the holidays. I take it with a bit of a grain of salt, to be honest, just because there's been a big disconnect this year between what people say and what they do.
In a new survey from Bankrate, 41% of respondents say they're concerned holiday gifts will be more expensive this year, and roughly a third of shoppers plan to take on debt. Bankrate's Ted Rossman says the survey also found fewer people are planning to travel during the period between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
We see that only 21% of U.S. adults are planning holiday travel this year. Last year, it was 27%. And I'm surprised that this is going down just because through September, the TSA has actually processed more air travelers this year than last year per day.
For those who are planning to go home for the holidays, Clint Henderson with the Point Sky travel platform says there's still time to book.
We're about to enter the perfect booking window when prices are not too high, not too low. If you book too early for the holidays, you're going to pay a premium. And also, if you book starting after around Halloween, prices are going to start going up from there.
When it's time to travel, be prepared. Have your airline's app on your phone to track your plane and rebook if necessary.
keep informed, keep up with the news. You really want to be an informed consumer during any kind of intemperate weather or other government problems or even freaks of nature.
The U.S. Travel Association is also projecting slower growth for travel this year, according to their latest update. They do expect higher growth rates in 2026 and beyond, driven by events like the FIFA World Cup and America 250 celebrations. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
The only thing left is to close the book.
After a record-breaking tour and most recently a record-selling 12th studio album, Taylor Swift shows no sign of slowing down. This week, Disney announced 2 new projects from the singer-turned-showgirl, a 6-part docuseries titled The End of an Era, with a behind-the-scenes look at Swift on her most recent world tour. Also announced Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, the final show, a concert film with the full set list of the Tortured Poets Department. Swifties can stream both projects beginning December 12th. Dearest gentle reader, rumor has it another social season is upon us. Will the eligible Benedict Bridgerton finally find love? This newly released trailer is the talk of the town, with Lady Whistledown spilling the tea on when we can finally expect Bridgerton Season 4. The new season will be released in 2 parts on Netflix starting January 29th. Tonight, your favorite special agents are back as the season 23 premiere of NCIS gets underway on CBS, with Parker on a personal mission to track down his father's killer.
If you want to catch her, you don't follow the book. You flip the table.
This new season kicks off with action, suspense, and a little flirtation.
Thanks for making the time.
More like wasting it. No time's wasted when spent in such charming company. Okay.
In what's sure to be a dramatic night, the premiere of NCIS is followed by Season 2 of NCIS Origins and Season 3 of NCIS Sydney. You can watch them all on CBS or Paramount+. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
this small home in a small Kansas town has seen better days.
It needs a new roof. Front porch has a sagging threshold on the first step there, driveway maintenance.
You can't afford any of that right now.
Can't afford any of it.
Art Gentry also can't do the work himself because, much like his home,
This is what I call my branch pharmacy.
his health has seen better days.
And then lisinopril is for
A stack of medicine
9 of them a day.
for a list of health issues.
Myasthenia gravis was the first big one that hit me really hard. I also have hypertension and tinnitus, and I had skin cancer across my forehead, type 2 diabetes, and prostate cancer.
Those last two are important. Now, some might chalk them up to Art's age. He's 77. But Art says there is another explanation. Art is a Vietnam War veteran. During that war, the United States government deployed a tactical weapon never before used, an herbicide called Agent Orange. Its purpose was to kill plants and eliminate hiding spots for enemy troops, a concoction not just deadly to plants, but devastating to humans. Vietnam veterans exposed have developed multiple myeloma, Parkinson's, hypothyroidism, and a list of other health issues, including type 2 diabetes and prostate cancer. More than 8 million Americans served in the Vietnam War. It's unknown how many were exposed to Agent Orange, but Art is convinced he's one of them.
In my young days, I was an avid swimmer.
So you were in those swimming beaches a lot?
7 different times before I got told I was in a restricted area that was not posted.
He's talking about the beaches in Subic Bay, Philippines. He was stationed there in 1971 during the war. Why do you think that area was restricted?
Because it was near the Agent Orange storage facility that was actually leaking down a ramp into the water there.
Veterans are entitled to special benefits in addition to their regular VA benefits if they have an illness connected to Agent Orange exposure during their service. For Art,
diabetes and weight control,
those benefits could be thousands of dollars a month, money that could help fix his crumbling home and support him as he gets sicker.
baby aspirin once a day.
So he filed a claim with the VA, and he got denied.
Simply because they said, well, I was not in an Agent Orange hotspot.
The term the government uses is a presumptive exposure location. In order for veterans to get those benefits, they have to have served in these specific areas, including Vietnam and parts of Thailand, where the government acknowledges Agent Orange was used or stored. Subic Bay, Philippines is not on the list. Art knew that, but he was certain he'd qualify anyway because of this. A case involving 2 Marines, also not in a presumptive exposure location, who said they were exposed to Agent Orange. The VA initially denied their claim in 2002, but attorneys for the Marines laid out a list of evidence, like news reports saying the chemical was shipped to the Marines' base, a document with directions on handling herbicides in the area, and statements from veterans saying they saw the Agent Orange barrels. With this, 10 years later, the VA granted their benefits. The location the Marines say they were exposed? Subic Bay. So why was their claim approved and Art's denied? We reached out to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs about this. They did not grant an on-camera interview, but told us it makes these decisions on a case-by-case basis. Even though the Marines were able to prove Agent Orange exposure in Subic Bay, the VA stance? Agent Orange was not used, transported, stored, or tested in Subic Bay. Was Agent Orange used or present in more areas than the federal government will admit?
Yes, certainly.
Dan Curry is an attorney who handles veteran disability compensation claims. He says veterans get automatic approval only in those presumptive areas. The rest have to fight.
You have some veterans getting it and others not, and there's not a real rhyme or reason to it anymore, when it's like, it almost seems random.
We wanted to know how random. So we asked the VA if it tracks how many veterans claim they were exposed to Agent Orange in areas outside of presumptive exposure locations. It doesn't. So we tracked it ourselves. We sifted through the Department of Veterans Affairs online database that shows veterans filing claims saying they have cancers, skin conditions, diabetes that they attribute to Agent Orange exposure. We found more than 500 claims
where they all served in Subic Bay.
How is that not enough for the government to say, maybe we need to take a look at this area?
It should be enough.
As we dug deeper into the numbers, it was clear most of these veterans aren't getting approved for benefits. About a quarter were remanded, meaning the VA says the veteran's case needs more information. More than half denied. The most common reason? Because they didn't set foot in Vietnam or the other presumptive exposure areas. We asked the VA and the Department of Defense if they were considering adding Subic Bay to its list as a result of the data we uncovered. The VA says that's up to the DoD. The DoD would not comment.
There's a lot of veterans that will say, they're just going to make me wait and fight and wait and fight until I'm dead. And then they don't have to pay me.
How long have you been fighting to get your benefits?
Since 2019.
Despite the denials and the uphill battle, Art continues trying to build his case. He now has a signed letter from another veteran who served in Subic Bay.
This is to affirm that Agent Orange was shipped into and out of Subic Bay, Philippines, and was witnessed by me during the time.
And this note from his doctor.
Agent Orange has been shown to be a causative agent of prostate cancer.
The only thing left to do now is hope.
What is your prognosis?
If it starts to grow and get worse, then I might have to go in for radiation therapy. So that's what I hope is a long way off.
So you're fighting against a clock.
Yeah.
And you don't know how much time is left in that clock.
That's right.
A veteran's fight in a battle he has no idea if he'll win.
Thanks for staying with us right here at the live desk. So today you can step away from the rush and settle into a serene evening under the trees. Bring your favorite book, find a cozy spot, and let yourself unwind while a curated lo-fi playlist drifts through the park with no agenda, no pressure, just time to read, relax, and enjoy the company of others who love a good story. And we are talking about Kansas City Parks and Recreation's Book Beats event being held later today. And to talk all about it, we have Tony with us. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So let's talk first. What is Book Beats?
So Book Beats is a kind of a play on like silent reading clubs and book discussions with a parks twist. So we are going to be bringing together a DJ, some coffee and mocktails, and our very own Case Park, and providing a safe and fun atmosphere for people to read in.
Awesome. And so just talk about how this event came to be. I mean, book beats, what?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, it's kind of a play on like silent reading clubs. I know that's like a big thing going on right now. And it's awesome. And we kind of wanted to give people an additional space in our community in order to come together and share this common interest, which is reading. And I have a background in public libraries. And so I was especially really passionate about this idea. And so myself and Heidi Markle, our events and marketing manager, came together and we were like, hey, we want to put on a book event that was something kind of new for parks and kind of uniting our literary community with our parks community.
So talk a little bit about just the literary community itself. I know you said that you have a background in working in the libraries. And I see a lot of bookstores also around the city that have been popping up lately. So I guess what is the literary movement looked like in Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City has a very vibrant literary community, actually. We're actually also partnering with KC Book Beat. Very huge coincidence on the name. It was actually funny. And they are also going to be there tonight. We have so many bookstores. We have our awesome Kansas City Public Library. We have Mid-Continent Library. And the plethora of bookstores. Literacy is expanding in Kansas City, and we want to provide another space for people to read. Obviously, it introduces people to a new park and just a new space. Books are this wonderful thing that people get to read, and we wanted to provide another place for those people.
And I know for some people, like, environment truly matters when it comes to being able to sit down and concentrate on what they're reading. People set the scene. And so speaking of which, I read here that you have like lo-fi music that's going to be playing.
Yes.
How does that kind of contribute to the setting that you all are trying to create?
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to create the most cozy environment possible. So in addition to this lo-fi music that is kind of creating this really nice ambiance, we're also going to be having like some twinkle lights. And Case Park is already just this very quaint and secluded little space right on top of like the Missouri River. So it's going to be this really calm and serene evening for people to read.
Yeah, for myself personally, I'm trying to get back into reading on a more leisurely basis. So when I was younger, I loved to read not nonfiction books, fiction books. And then now as an adult, I would read more of like resource books, like career-based books, and then I found myself getting fatigued by that. So now I'm trying to step back into reading fiction books just to try to get back to that place of escape and, just letting your mind kind of be in a different place. And I feel like also there's kind of less pressure when you're reading about something that isn't real versus, what you need to do or what you need to change or, real life things.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's so easy to escape, into a fantasy world, but sometimes you don't have a space in the community to escape to. And that's kind of what Book Beats is aiming for, is to give you a place to, unwind and settle down. And it's a safe and comfortable spot for you to read for the evening.
And so for you personally, what is your favorite genre? Who are some of your favorite authors?
I am a big science fiction nerd. Science fiction and fantasy are my bread and butter. My favorite book is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I just love anything kind of weird and wacky. I think those things are so fun and magical, kind of, even just to imagine like a play on things that exist in our world or don't exist in our world. But, it's just the idea that they could. And that's, I think, so fantastical.
And so just talk about the importance of continuing to promote the importance of literacy, especially by creating events like this one that kind of maybe give people a different approach. Reading a book doesn't always have to be like in school. You're reading a passage that, you have to write a paper on, but that it's something that you can do for fun and excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. Literacy is one of the most powerful things that you can have in our world. Reading is power. It gives you independence. It gives you a sense of community. And so creating events like this where, you're reading for pleasure, and you're surrounded by other people that are reading for pleasure. That's a gateway into knowledge, and like I said, into power and independence. And so reading for pleasure in an event like this is so important. It's not just an assignment. It's not for looks. It's for fun.
And so remind me, is this the first event of its kind? Okay, awesome. And so what are future plans for Book Beats, especially if you have a great turnout and a lot of people engage with it?
Yeah, we would absolutely love to continue this series. Probably if we did have a great turnout, which we are so hoping we do, we probably wouldn't see another one until spring, obviously, for weather reasons. But yeah, we would love to continue it. We'd love to showcase different parks in our system, and invite different communities throughout Kansas City to events like this. It's a great way to network and, see a different place in Kansas City that you might not have seen before.
Yes, certainly a great way to expose, what else the city has out there. So for those who are interested in attending, what do they need to know? I know that it's going to be happening this afternoon, or this evening, early evening.
Yes, it happens this evening, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It will be in Case Park. The address is 850 Jefferson Street. It will be by the Corps of Discovery Monument, which is that Lewis and Clark statue in the Brick Circle Drive. You will see Book Beat signs. Look for twinkle lights and a coffee and mocktail truck and lo-fi music, and you'll know you're in the right spot. And maybe bring a blanket or chair tonight and settle in and get cozy, and bring your own book.
Oh yes,
bring your own book. It can
that's
be a library book or a personal book.
I was going to say that's a different kind of BYOB.
Yes,
bring your own book.
Yeah, that was on our branding actually with BYOB. Bring your own book.
You can add that to the next flyer.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Toni, thank you so much for sharing with us. And once again, everyone, be sure to attend Book Beats if you can this evening. It sounds like it's going to be a wonderful time. And thank you, Toni, for your time.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all there.
All right. And with that being said, we are going to take a break and we'll be right back. Well, today is a day to celebrate your sweet tooth because it's National Dessert Day. The options are endless, from brownies to ice cream dairy concoctions to cookies, cakes, pies, and much more. But for many people, a dessert is the perfect complement to top off a meal. But it's also an ideal indulgence that you can treat yourself with any time. But Tuesday, today, is the day to stop by your local bakery or restaurant for a treat. Or if you have some extra time, you can make one at home, which I won't be doing because I'm not a baker. I can't bake.
I really want to get into baking.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one thing I really want to do before, I have a lot actually on my bucket list for this year, and the year time is just running out. But baking, I would love to know how to bake. And Nathan Brennan, his wife, Carly, is a huge baker.
We get cookies all the time.
All the
Shout out to
time.
Carly.
And she adds like the sea salt on top of it. Really, really good.
Sea salt is so good. Yeah. The other day I went to Betty Ray's for dessert after dinner, and it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Love
so
Betty Ray's.
What are your favorites?
You know what? As I get older, I realize I really love cheesecake.
Me too. Me too.
And I have never been like a huge cheesecake person, but when I see it on the menu, I'm like, oh, cheesecake actually sounds kind of good.
I love cheesecake as well.
What else?
And then I love apple pie. Any apple dessert, like
and
apple
it's close
crisp,
to Thanksgiving time too.
Nice and warm with like a scoop of ice cream.
Yes, it has to be warm with that scoop of ice cream. And another thing, as I get older, pecan pie.
Okay.
Which I never really liked.
Yeah.
But here lately, when it's warm with some pecan ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
Taylor.
Your taste buds are maturing, Janae.
Taylor. There's just nothing like it.
It's fire.
You know what? We love talking about food. So I'm going to ask everyone in this newsroom like their favorite type of pie.
It's so good.
Those are top two: apple pie and pecan.
Yes. My great grandmother, may she rest in peace, she was a baker. And I mean, anything that she touched, her cookies, her cakes,
amazing,
her pies, just
perfect,
her own
perfection.
special touch. Yes. And she would never like need a recipe. She just doing it.
I love people like that. I want to be like those people because how they just go for it. Like, I was talking to someone this weekend and they were saying that they never measure anything.
Yeah,
it just comes out perfect. And I'm like, I cannot do that.
She'll be like, a pinch of this,
a
sprinkle of that. I'm like, well, what's a pinch versus a sprinkle?
And speaking of desserts, so my mom is known for like her rum cake, and I was making it not too long ago, and I'm like, Mom, what do I put in this? She's like, girl, I don't know. Like, I don't know the correct measurement. She was like, I just know it like when I look at it. And I'm like, I need to know this.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely go get you some dessert today. Don't cheat yourself.
No.
Have that cheat day.
This is the day for the cheat day.
This is the day. Taking a look at these treats once again, whether you want some brownies, some ice cream, some cookies, whatever it is, go for it. It's National Dessert Day. Alrighty, well, we are just a few minutes away from our noon newscast. We'll meet you right back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to noon on KCTV5+, also on our social media platforms. But yes, be sure to tune in to our noon newscast if you're joining us right here on KCTV5+. And if you're joining us on social media, go ahead and log off and turn on your TV.
But log back on tomorrow.
Yes, but log back on tomorrow, and we'll meet you right back here. Have a wonderful Tuesday.